Two people stand at the edge of an island, looking at the life they want across the water. The bridge builder says, "I'll build a bridge so I can always come back if it doesn't work out." The boat burner sets fire to everything behind them and swims. Guess which one makes it? Here's the habit no one talks about. Successful people eliminate retreat. They don't keep backup plans that secretly become primary plans. They don't leave escape routes that turn into excuses. They make the decision irrevocable, not through arrogance, but through architecture. They design their life so that going backward is harder than going forward. That's not recklessness, that's strategy. Let me show you how to burn the right boats. You've been told success comes from discipline, habits, morning routines, and hard work. And while those matter, they're symptoms, not the source. The real differentiator is something deeper. Successful people have mastered the habit of decision protection, the ability to make a choice once and defend it against the thousands of micro moments that try to undo it. Most people make decisions in moments of clarity and then renegotiate them in moments of weakness. This video will show you how to collapse that gap, how to make your decisions irrevocable through identity and environment, and why the battle for your life is won or lost in the 2 seconds between knowing and doing. Stop making decisions. Start becoming them. Let me tell you about two people with the same goal: get healthy, transform their body, feel better, live longer. Same goal, same starting point, dramatically different outcomes. Person A wakes up at 6 in the morning, stares at their alarm clock going off, and the negotiation begins. Do I really need to work out today? I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. I worked hard yesterday. I'll do extra tomorrow to make up for it. One day won't hurt. Maybe I should listen to my body. Maybe rest is more important right now. And they lie there in bed having this entire internal debate, this negotiation with themselves, trying to decide in that moment whether they're going to honor the commitment they made to themselves when they were clear-headed and motivated. Some days they win the negotiation and they drag themselves out of bed. Most days they lose. They hit snooze. They promise themselves tomorrow will be different. And 6 months later, they've made minimal progress. They're frustrated. They blame themselves for lacking discipline, for being weak, for not wanting it badly enough. Person B also wakes up at 6 in the morning. Alarm goes off. But there's no negotiation. Not because they're more disciplined, not because they want it more, not because they're a better person, but because they decided differently. They didn't decide, "I'm going to try to work out most mornings." They didn't decide, "I'm going to make an effort to be healthier." They decided, "I am someone who works out at 6 a.m." That's an identity, not an intention. That's who they are, not what they do. And identities don't negotiate. Think about it. You don't wake up and negotiate whether to brush your teeth. You don't lie in bed debating whether you're really a toothbrushing person today, or if you can skip it just this once. You just do it because that's who you are. That's what people do. That's your identity. Here's the habit, and this is the game changer. Successful people close the negotiation window. They make decisions at the identity level, not the behavior level. Because when you decide who you are, the actions become non-negotiable. They're just expressions of your identity. But when you decide what you'll do, when you make it about behaviors and actions and daily choices, every single day becomes a new negotiation. Every single day, you're starting from zero, trying to convince yourself all over again. Most people never close the window. They keep the negotiation open because it feels safer, it feels more flexible, it feels less extreme. They can always pivot, always adjust, always give themselves grace. And grace is important, don't get me wrong. But that grace becomes an excuse. That flexibility becomes a trap. That openness becomes the reason they never actually commit. And 6 months later, they're still negotiating the same decision they made in January. Still having the same internal debate. Still promising themselves that this time will be different. The successful person. They made the decision once. They closed the window. They shut down the negotiation permanently. And then, they designed their environment to support that identity. They didn't rely on willpower to drag them out of bed every morning. They moved the alarm across the room so they physically have to get up to turn it off. They slept in their workout clothes, so there's less friction between waking and moving. They scheduled morning calls with a workout partner, so there's accountability. So backing out means disappointing someone else. They pre-packed their gym bag the night before. They eliminated every micro decision, every point of friction, every opportunity for their future self to negotiate out of the commitment their past self made. They didn't rely on willpower because they understand something most people don't. Willpower is what you need when the decision is still open. Identity is what you have when the decision is closed. Willpower is a finite resource that gets depleted throughout the day. But identity? Identity is infinite. It's who you are. It doesn't run out. It doesn't need to be recharged. It just is. Think about your life right now. How many decisions are you still negotiating? How many commitments are you remaking every single day? The diet you keep restarting. The business you keep planning but never launching. The relationship you keep tolerating, even though you know it's draining you. The boundary you keep compromising. The goal you keep pushing to next month, next quarter, next year. Every one of those is an open negotiation. And every single day you're losing ground because you're fighting the same battle you fought yesterday. You're using the same willpower, the same motivation, the same energy to make the same decision you already made. And that's exhausting. That's why you're tired. Not because you're weak, because you're negotiating everything. Close the negotiation, decide who you are, not what you'll try to do. Then build a life that makes that identity inevitable. Make it easier to honor the commitment than to break it. Make the right choice automatic and the wrong choice inconvenient. That's the habit. That's what separates people who succeed from people who stay stuck. But how do you actually close the negotiation when you've been negotiating for years? When the pattern is so ingrained you don't even realize you're doing it. That's where the architecture comes in. That's where the second part of this habit reveals itself. In ancient warfare, there was a strategy called burning the bridges. An army would cross a bridge into enemy territory, then destroy it behind them. No retreat, no backup plan, no safety net. Win or die. And you know what happened? They won far more often than armies with escape routes. Far more often. Why? Because when retreat is impossible, you fight differently. When going back isn't an option, you find a way forward that you never would have found if you had a safety net to fall back on. Your brain works differently when survival depends on success. Most people build their entire lives around safety nets, backup plans, escape routes, exit strategies, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. And they think this is wisdom. They think this is smart planning. They think this is being responsible and realistic. But here's what actually happens, and I've seen this thousands of times. Your backup plan becomes your primary plan. The exit you keep open becomes the exit you take. Not because you're weak, not because you're a quitter, but because when things get hard, and they will get hard, your brain will automatically look for the path of least resistance. And if that path exists, if you've kept it available, you'll take it. You say you want to start a business, but you keep your job just in case. And that just in case means you never fully commit to the business. You work on it in the margins, in the evenings, on weekends, when you have energy left over. Which is never, because your job takes everything. So the business stays a side project, and the side project stays a dream, and the dream eventually dies from lack of commitment. You say you want to move to a new city, start fresh, build a different life, but you keep your apartment just in case. So you never fully arrive in the new place. You're physically there, but mentally still tethered to the old life. You say you're committed to the relationship, but you keep one foot out the door just in case. And that just in case prevents you from ever being fully vulnerable, fully present, fully invested. And the relationship suffers because your partner can feel the reservation even if you never say it out loud. That just in case is killing your dreams. It's not protecting you. It's guaranteeing that when things get hard, and they will, you'll take the easy route back to comfortable misery. Successful people burn different bridges, not recklessly, not stupidly, strategically. They don't burn the bridge home. They don't destroy their lives irresponsibly. They burn the bridge to mediocrity. They burn the bridge to comfortable stagnation. They make the cost of quitting higher than the cost of continuing. They make staying stuck more painful than moving forward. They design their life so that retreat isn't attractive anymore. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow with no plan. I'm not saying make reckless decisions that endanger your family. I'm saying, what bridge do you need to burn to make your decision irrevocable? Maybe it's public commitment. Maybe you need to tell everyone what you're doing. So backing out means public failure. Maybe it's financial investment. Maybe you need to invest money in the dream, enough that quitting means losing something significant. Maybe it's cutting off the excuses you've been using for years. Maybe it's admitting to yourself that the backup plan you're clinging to is actually the thing preventing you from committing to the real plan. Maybe it's ending the relationship that's comfortable but soul crushing. Maybe it's leaving the job that pays well but kills your spirit. Maybe it's moving across the country even though it's scary. Maybe it's deleting the apps that waste your time. Maybe it's blocking the people who drain your energy. Here's the paradox, and this is going to sound backwards, but it's true. The more escape routes you have, the more trapped you become, because you never fully commit to any path. You're always hedging, always half in, always ready to pivot the moment it gets uncomfortable. And that divided commitment guarantees mediocre results. You can't build anything extraordinary with half your attention. You can't transform your life with one foot out the door. You can't become someone new while clinging to the safety of who you were. Burn the bridge. Make the decision scary. Make it irrevocable. And watch what you're capable of when retreat isn't an option. I'm not saying you won't be terrified. You will be. I'm saying that terror is what you need. That terror is the signal that you're actually committing. That terror means you're all in. And all in is the only way anything significant ever gets built. So if the habit is closing negotiations and burning bridges, what are the principles that make this sustainable? Because I don't want you to just hear this and feel inspired for 3 days and then go back to your old patterns. I want this to stick. I want this to change your life. First principle: decisions made once compound forever. Every time you remake a decision, you waste energy. You waste mental bandwidth. You waste the momentum you built yesterday. Successful people make core decisions once at the identity level and let them compound. I'm someone who keeps promises to myself. That's a decision made once. It applies to everything. It's a filter for every choice. But I'll try to keep this promise. That's a decision made daily. That's a negotiation that never ends. One compounds, one depletes. Second principle: your environment is your enforcement. You cannot willpower your way through a misaligned environment. If you decide to eat healthy, but keep junk food in the house, you're negotiating daily. Remove the junk. Close the negotiation. Design your environment to make the right choice automatic and the wrong choice inconvenient. Your environment is always stronger than your willpower. Always. Use that to your advantage. Third principle: identity over behavior. Always. Don't decide to work out more. Decide to become an athlete. Don't decide to write more. Become a writer. Don't decide to save money. Become someone who values financial freedom. Identity-level decisions don't negotiate. They don't need motivation. They just execute because that's who you are. The behavior flows from the being. Fourth principle: strategic irreversibility creates momentum. Make your decisions publicly. Invest money. Create accountability. Tell people who will call you out if you quit. The more irreversible the decision, the less you'll self-sabotage. Fear of commitment isn't protecting you. It's keeping you stuck in comfortable mediocrity. Make it hurt to quit. Make it easier to keep going. But how do you actually implement this today? Right now? Here's what you do. First, the one decision audit. Identify one decision you keep remaking. The same negotiation every single day. The same internal debate. Now ask, what would it look like to make this decision once at the identity level? Write it down as an identity statement. I am someone who, not I want to, not I'm trying to, I am. Then, design one environmental change that enforces it. One thing you can change today that makes the identity easier and the old pattern harder. Second, the bridge burning exercise. What's your biggest escape route? The backup plan that's actually preventing commitment? Write it down. Be honest. Then ask, what would I do differently if this option didn't exist? Don't literally burn it today. Just see what changes when you imagine it gone. See what possibilities open up. See what decisions become obvious. Third, the 2-second protocol. In the gap between knowing what to do and doing it, insert awareness. When you know you should act but you hesitate, count to 2 and move. Don't think. Don't negotiate. 2 seconds. Move. Train your body to close the gap between decision and execution. This is how you collapse the negotiation window in real time. Fourth, the future self letter. Write a letter from your future self 1 year from now. What does that person thank you for? What decisions did you make that they're living with? What bridges did you burn? What negotiations did you close? Read it weekly. Make decisions that honor that person, not your current comfort. So here's where we land, and I need you to really feel the weight of this. The habit that separates successful people from everyone else isn't what you do. It's who you decide to be and how fiercely you protect that decision. It's not morning routines or productivity hacks or time management systems. It's closing the negotiation window. It's burning the bridge to mediocrity. It's making decisions once at the identity level and refusing to renegotiate them every time they get uncomfortable. Here's your mantra, and I want you to say this with me. I decide once. I execute forever. Say it again. I decide once. I execute forever. Because the battle for your life isn't fought in the big moments. It's fought in the 2 seconds between knowing and doing. It's fought in the moment you wake up and negotiate whether to hit snooze. It's fought in the moment you know you should speak up, but choose silence. It's fought in every moment you choose your current self's comfort over your future self's freedom. Close the negotiation. Burn the bridge. Decide who you are. And then build a life that makes that identity inevitable. You're not lacking discipline, you're lacking decision protection. And today that changes. If this hit you, like this video, comment and tell me, what's the one decision you're closing the negotiation on today? And subscribe, because we're building lives of intention together, not lives of perpetual negotiation. Decide once, execute forever. That's the entire game.